The sun, a blaze of glory, crested the horizon. Golden light streamed through the panoramic windows. It painted the modern, minimalist apartment in hues of warmth. Outside, the ocean shimmered, a vast expanse of turquoise. A distant roar shattered the morning calm. Two fighter jets, sleek and predatory, screamed across the sky. They left trails of white against the endless blue. He watched them, mesmerized from his balcony. A pang of longing echoed in his chest. He admired their power, their grace. A bittersweet envy tugged at him. They were free, unburdened. He, on the other hand, was tethered, anchored by memories. The roar faded, leaving a haunting silence. The ocean breeze, cool and salty, whispered across his skin. It carried the scent of freedom, of endless possibilities. But for him it seemed possibilities had dwindled to a precious few. He turned away from the ocean vista and walked back inside. His reflection greeted him from the smart mirror in the hallway. It displayed various stats: his weight, his body fat percentage, the day's weather. He ran a hand through his hair, satisfied with what he saw. His hair, still thick and dark, framed a face that was ruggedly handsome. His eyes, though tinged with sadness, held a depth that spoke of intelligence and sensitivity. "Looking good," he murmured to his reflection. His voice was deep, resonant, the voice of a man accustomed to being heard. He chuckled humorlessly. "But looks can be deceiving, can't they?" The smart mirror, of course, remained silent. It was a heartless thing, incapable of understanding the complexities of human emotion. It could tell him his weight, his heart rate, but it couldn't measure the ache in his soul. His gaze drifted to the framed photograph on the table beside the mirror. A beautiful woman, her dark hair cascading over her shoulders, smiled radiantly back at him. It was a reminder of what he had lost, of what he might never find again. The coffee machine whirred to life, the aroma of freshly brewed Colombian Supremo filling the air. He inhaled deeply, finding comfort in the familiar scent. Coffee was a ritual, a moment of peace in the chaos of his thoughts. He preferred his coffee cold, like his heart, he mused wryly. He filled a tall glass with ice cubes, the clatter echoing in the quiet apartment. The ice clinked musically as he poured the dark, aromatic liquid over it. He took a long, slow sip, savoring the bitter taste. The caffeine jolted him awake, chasing away the remnants of sleep. His mind, no longer clouded by drowsiness, returned to its familiar torment. "She would have hated this coffee," he murmured, a sad smile playing on his lips. She had preferred her coffee sweet, overloaded with cream and sugar. It was just one of the many differences between them, differences he had once found endearing. The rhythmic crashing of waves drew him back to the balcony. The tide was coming in, the turquoise water surging towards the shore with relentless force. He watched as the waves broke, their white crests dissolving into frothy foam. The ocean was a constant in his life, a source of both solace and turmoil. It mirrored his own emotions, sometimes calm and serene, sometimes wild and unpredictable. Today it seemed to reflect his own turbulent state. He thought about her again, about the way her laughter had echoed the sound of the waves. She'd loved the ocean as much as he did, had found solace in its vastness. They'd spent countless hours walking along the beach, hand in hand, their footprints erased by the incoming tide. The memory brought a fresh wave of pain. It was always there, lurking beneath the surface, threatening to engulf him. He had loved her with a depth he hadn't thought possible, a love that had consumed him entirely. The apartment, once filled with her laughter, her scent, now felt oppressively empty. He was surrounded by ghosts of memories, by echoes of what they had shared. Every corner held a reminder of her presence, of her absence. He walked into the living room, drawn to the grand piano that sat in the corner. It had been a gift to her, a symbol of his love. She had been a gifted pianist, her fingers dancing over the keys, filling the apartment with music. He touched the keys gently, the ivory cool beneath his fingertips. A single note rang out clear and pure, hanging in the silence that followed. It was a sound of longing, of unfulfilled promises. She had been the missing piece of his soul, the one who had made him feel complete. And then, just as suddenly as she had entered his life, she was gone, leaving him shattered and incomplete. He closed his eyes, the memory of her touch still vivid in his mind. Her skin had been soft as velvet, her scent a heady mix of jasmine and sea salt. He had loved the way she looked at him, with a mixture of adoration and amusement. He had loved her intelligence, her quick wit, the way she challenged him. She had been his equal in every way, his confidant, his lover, his best friend. They had shared a connection that transcended the physical, a bond that he had believed was unbreakable. He had given her everything, had poured his heart and soul into their relationship. He had believed, with every fibre of his being, that they were destined to be together, two souls intertwined for eternity. The memory of their last night together, etched into his mind with painful clarity, haunted him. The fight, her tear-stained face, the finality in her voice as she walked away. He had been devastated by her departure, unable to comprehend how she could throw away what they had. He had replayed their last conversation countless times, searching for answers that eluded him. He had offered her everything he had, his love, his loyalty, his life. He had built his world around her, making her the center of his universe. He had believed with unshakable certainty that he was the perfect man for her. Looking back, he realized that his belief in their perfect compatibility had been his downfall. He had been so blinded by his love for her, so convinced that he knew what was best for her, that he had failed to see her perspective. He had suffocated her with his love, had inadvertently clipped her wings. He had wanted to protect her from the world, to shield her from pain, but in doing so, he had imprisoned her. He had spent months trying to win her back, bombarding her with flowers, love letters, desperate pleas. But she had remained resolute in her decision. She had moved on, found someone new. He knew he should do the same, that clinging to the past was futile. He knew that he needed to let her go, to allow himself to heal. But a part of him, a stubborn, irrational part, refused to give up hope. He told himself that he was over her, that he was moving on. But the truth was, he still loved her, still yearned for her. The pain of her absence was a constant ache, a dull throb that never quite went away. He knew he couldn't keep living in the past, that he needed to build a new life for himself. But how could he when a part of him was still lost in the memories of what they had shared? He decided to take a drive along the coast to clear his head, to escape the suffocating memories that clung to him like cobwebs. He grabbed his car keys, the cool metal a comfort against his palm. His car, a sleek silver sports car, was his pride and joy. It was a symbol of his success, of his freedom. He slid behind the wheel, the leather seat molding to his body. He rolled down the windows, letting the salty air wash over him. The engine roared to life, a powerful beast straining at the leash. He pulled out of the driveway, the tires crunching on the gravel. He headed towards the coast, the road winding its way along the cliffs. The sun was high in the sky now, reflecting off the ocean, creating a dazzling expanse of light. He knew just the place, a small cafe perched on the edge of the cliff, overlooking the ocean. It was a place where he could lose himself in the rhythm of the waves, where he could pretend for a little while that she was still beside him.